Okay, purity is a virtue. That is a very good thing to meditate about. Just repeat, purity is a virtue. Okay, when considering bathing and personal cleanliness, that has to do with purity. Living a pure lifestyle, living a pure way of living, doing things good and not things that are evil. I like to consider, when I consider the lotus plant, lotus flower, I like to consider the ivory tower. How it can have more terraces than only 3 here. But it is a flower that has to do with purity. I also wanted to mention, when I was making the previous video, looking at my moon clock, I wanted to mention the Karate Kid and Mr. Miyagi, wax on, wax off. Those phases of the moon, that there's the waxing moon from, what is it? I believe it's from oh my gosh, my mind is so funny. I have a turkey sitting on my head, it won't let me remember. Okay, from the full moon to the new moon, I believe that's a waxing moon. And from the new moon to a full moon, that's a waning moon. The waning moon, the waxing moon. So when considering wax on, the waxing moon, and then when you consider wax off, you consider the waning move. The waning moon, the waning phases of the moon, the waning crescents. Wax off, wax on, wax off. Okay, I also wanted to explain to you that gift giving is very spiritual. It is a part of heart development. When you're developing your heart, and you give a gift for birthdays or for Christmases, and it is something that helps you with your heart. When considering Jehovah's Witnesses, they kind of have a tradition of not giving Christmas gifts or birthday gifts, but they have the teaching in their lifestyle that other times throughout the year you want to give gifts, but it's not for those reasons. Okay, they yet encourage gift giving, but not at these times. They do this because they want the scientific observation. If you don't give gifts at Christmas and at birthdays, you will make an observation, a scientific observation about phenomenon in life, about these things. So they teach that you yet should give gifts, but not for Christmas and birthdays and such. But they yet encourage you to give gifts throughout the year that are not with these annual traditions. Okay, so gift giving is very, very important for our hearts. It's also good for our minds. Of course, you have to have the money to give gifts, right? You have to be able to afford to do so. I'm on a budget. I'm not able to do so at this time, but when this is something to consider when considering what Jesus, people gave him gifts. When considering Judaism in the Middle East, you may want to consider bearing gifts. People would bring to the temple gifts or whatever, and also they would give one another gifts. It's in many traditions. It's very good for our hearts. It's very good for our souls, good for our minds and our bodies as well. When considering my family, and when considering your own family, you may want to consider your own disposition and the disposition of any given member of your family who you may be considering giving a gift to. You also want to consider the nature that your family has. You want to give a gift that has a perfect nature for your relationship. See, I have on my paternal side of the family, my grandpa Melvin Rogers was supposed to give me a wood step stool because this had a perfect nature for him to give to me, Taffy. So he has other grandchildren, and these grandchildren he has they have a different nature than I do. So the gift that is very wise to give is different. It's a different item that Grandpa Melvin could give to his other grandkids than to me. But for me, there is a very perfect and spiritual reason why he should give this gift. I also have an item that would be wise and perfect for me to give to him, considering my disposition and his disposition, and also the nature of our family. Is this gift going to be in harmony with each family member? There are such categories, so you don't want to upset another family member, right? So considering wisdom and an item that has a perfect nature is very important. For my grandma Mildred, who is Melvin's wife, Grandma Mildred Rogers, it was perfect for her to give me a bath bench. I drew a picture of a bath bench that looks similar to the bath shelf that I just showed you in the previous video, but it was perfect for her to give to me, Taffy, a bath bench. This is a bath bench that you sit on. It is not a bath shelf just to place items on. A bath shelf complements a bath bench, but it has a different nature than a bath bench. Okay, so when considering your own family, there are such, all these variables to consider with each family member, and what's in harmony, what's wise, what is perfect, etc. Okay, so I'm going to talk a little bit more about a bath bench that does have something to do with the Ark of the Covenant. It is carved like this. See, it's a smiley face bath bench. And it looks kind of like that, but when you want to carve this bath bench, what is perfect and so fascinating about this is you get a piece of wood like this, and it's this is 1 1/8 inch thick piece of wood, and then you draw on it smiley faces like this. So you draw it on the piece of wood like this. Here's a smiley face on the wood, and then you could carve it out. And then that leaves you with, if you cut 9 of them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, you are left with 8 spare ribs. So I'm going to call these pieces of wood here that are not a part of the, the smiley face with the corner of a smile. These yet are in smiley face, but they don't have a corner of the smile like this. So I'm going to call them spare ribs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 spare ribs, maybe even 9 spare ribs, that you could use to make another piece of furniture. See, once you have these spare ribs, cut out, you set the smiley faces aside with the corners of the smile, and then the spare ribs aside, and then you could make another kind of piece of furniture with these. It is possible to waste very little to no pieces of wood. Once you're carving all this out, even this part of the piece of wood right here, you can yet utilize somehow. And here's a spare rib, and then here's another part of the wood here, and you could even utilize that in a piece of furniture. This is important to consider when considering the Ark of the Covenant. On to my next video.